What's up? We're back. Today I'm starting on gonna put the crown molding here, here, and here. I just had to sand it some. I got it sanded. Got this old drywall sander here, borrowed from a friend. It seemed to work pretty good, but that thing was making me sweat, I tell you. I went on and got the tops here sanded, got the walls sanded so it's smooth for some crown molding. So I believe I'm gonna go and cut some crown molding. Now all of these corners through here, all of these I mitered, or no, excuse me, I coped. But I'm thinking I might try to miter one corner over here just so I can get a piece up there. Just get two pieces. I don't think I got a good flat disc for my grinder, so I'm gonna see what happens. Now we've got a few upgrades around here. Look at that thing. Brand new 12-inch miter saw. Drywall. Brand new. About to test her out. I somehow talked to my mom into buying this. You know, since she's not paying somebody to do all this work, might as well get a few tools out of the deal. Now I've made myself a few cheat sheets here. See this? This is the angle you want for an outside corner. So if it's going up here, that'll be your outside corner. And then I've got this cut here to be an inside corner. This just kind of helps me out visualize what I'm cutting, because I ain't the best at cutting these, but I'm sure giving it my best and trying to make it look good. Right here will be an outside corner, and these are inside corners. See, outside corners, they protrude out, so you gotta make the cut, you know, the way that is, and then these inside corners make the cuts that way. Just helps me out visualize it. So I'm gonna do this wall. I will miter this end, but this end will be flat to this wall because I'm gonna cope this piece. But we're waiting on this piece because of the chimney. I don't know if I'm gonna have to tear this drywall out for the chimney man or not, so I'm not trying to do crown molding twice, so we're just gonna hold off on that. But like I said, flat cut here, miter here, and then we're gonna miter and terminate it right here. See, I'll mark 83.5. I'll take my stencil here and I'll match that up like that on the saw. Make sure I got my angles right. Cut it. Just helps me better visualize what I'm doing. So I got the first piece nailed up with a few nails. I've got this end loose, just so I'm probably gonna have to do a little manipulating to get that corner to look right when I put the other piece on. So I'm just leaving it loose till I get the other piece cut and get it up there. So in my head, I'm visualizing I am cutting this piece right here. 2 inside cuts, and it's going to be 129 3/4 inches long. From here, from your longest part, from here to here, and that'll go up just like that. So I've got this piece cut. I just visualized this piece in my head. Same angle there. Same angle there. Just 129 3/4 inches long. Let's get this piece hung. if we can. Alright, so I got it hung. That corner, it looks alright. It'll need a little caulk. But it is tough with these walls and this drywall, getting everything perfect. If you look up here, you can see how wavy this is and how I have to just manipulate the entire piece in order to get it even somewhat close. Now that's what all of these rooms look like. And we just took some caulk and ran down them, and they turned out pretty good. It's an old house, so you can't, unless you tear the drywall out, it won't be perfect, but it'll suit us just fine. If you ain't got one of these battery powered nail guns, they're worth the money. This beats dragging a air hose out and plugging a compressor up and listening to that thing all loud. I would highly recommend getting one. So next up, this short piece and termination. It's gonna look just like this. Minus the drywall right there. I'll get that off there. So this cut is gonna be an inside cut, then an outside cut for the termination. Water? Looks good. Look at all that. My mom put a few little decorations in the window there, because it's Christmas. We're here in the good old state of Kentucky, so sometimes it's 70 degrees, sometimes there's a foot of snow on the ground, maybe a little less than a foot. You know, we don't usually get big snows anymore, but that's Kentucky weather for you. So what I've got to do here is I need this side, and then the other side has got to look like this. A little confusing, but I'll get through it. So I've got to do 42 1/4 is the length. So you have to measure from long point to long point. A little confusing. And instead of cutting on these outside corners, we're cutting like this. You got to do a little flip over, turn backwards doings, and get it there at that 90, and then cut it like that. So you're going to be twirling this thing like the man on the side of the road with the car wash sign. But we can do it. Okay. Looking good. Looking on target. The only problem we have here is this, where this sags, is I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this up. I might do a little manhandling. Well, here's what we got. That hole, I don't like that. But we might just have to caulk it, put a little putty in there and roll with it. Cause it's rough. Ended up poking a hole in there trying to get some seams gone. I might have to use my pry bar, get that looking good. But I think a little caulk, maybe a little wood filler, and you'll never know the difference. Just going to have to be what it is. Yeah, I tried some here. This wall isn't square, and I'm just not a fan of the look of that. It's not as straight as I like it, so I'm gonna redo that, and I'll just work on that when I run all this after the chimney man. Little update. We've got everything sanded in here, all the ceilings. Now it's time to mud them, skim them again. Made me a little contraption here. That's some 2x6s. Little walk board, cheap. Yeah, it's very difficult getting this real smooth. You gotta shine so much light on it, because you'll find a spot that you can't see. You gotta put a light right on the edge of it to make a shadow, and then you'll finally see it to sand it. But just looking straight up, it looks perfect. Like all this looks real flat, which it's pretty well flat. But then you can see a shadow right there. I gotta sand that little section. It's always good to have light. And I like Milwaukee. I've got them all. I got that light, I got this big light, got this little light. That's what you gotta have when you're sanding drywall, trying to get it smooth, because shadows, the paint will really show after you get paint on the walls. You'll have to go back and touch up a whole bunch. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. Got a little update for everybody. Here's the hallway. We've got some paint on the walls. Just like I said earlier, still waiting for the chimney man, because I don't know if I'm going to tear this drywall out or not. So we're just holding off till he gets here. He should be here next Saturday, so in a week. We've got this kitchen nice and painted. It needs another coat. But again, holding off on the chimney area here. This is where the stove's gonna be. So it's all gonna be covered. But that drywall still needs to cut in. But we're coming right along. Need one more coat on the wall, cut in. Ceiling's done. It turned out real well. Turned out pretty smooth. You can see everything nice and smooth. It's coming right along. We're working on in here. I had this all sanded. It's all been primed, but I had it all sanded, and there was a crack that ran down the line here. So I had to go through, put a bunch of screws and big washers in it, because it was moving on me, and then mud it again. So that added some time. Yeah, we've got all this hung up in here, crown molding, waiting on that. It all looking good. Still waiting on this area. I raided the my grandma's basement. Got some Johnny Cash playing. And we got some old Marty Robbins CDs. We're just keeping it in the same century. I was looking for a record player, but we ain't got one. I'll have to find us one. Some jukebox Saturday nights will get me in the painting spirit. These are from the 40s, 39, some old ones. Yeah, this is where washer, dryer is gonna be. So, as you see, there's nothing in here. No hookups. I believe there was one outlet in here. So, gonna be doing some cutting of the drywall. Yeah, the plans here, probably gonna, we'll turn the light on. We're gonna probably put a cabinet here. That's why we've not painted yet, just trying to decide. And we're holding off here where all this is peeled and looks pretty bad. One summer day, spring day probably, this is gonna come out and we're gonna do some work and repaint it and finish it. And then I can get behind there and fix all that drywall and make it look somewhat decent. But we're probably gonna build a cabinet here, stove, build another cabinet here, and then build one more cabinet here. I've got a 20 amp outlet, and that's probably gonna be where the microwave goes. This is on its own circuit, so is the fridge. Now I don't believe we're gonna hold off on upper cabinets just because there never was any upper cabinets here. And I'll put in a picture. I found some old ones of what it used to look like. We have one that looked here. Got a picture that was there. That was of my great grandmother. That's who used to live here. And then there should be another picture right here. And that's showing that should be my aunt, two of my aunts cutting the turkey. Then there will be a picture of the table in here of what this used to look like. Then I got a picture of what this used to look like in here. And then the picture of what used to be in there. You can see there was an old stove there. I believe that was the old coal stove. I just thought that was pretty cool. I figured I'd add that in there. There's also a picture taken about right in here. This will be my cousin and then my mom standing up. They're all at the Christmas dinner. That's what all these old pictures were from. I'll throw in a few more old pictures I've got of the place. This used to be a popping place back in the day, from gardens to farming and everything. I just hope one day, my goal is to kind of put it back that way. You know, we just do a little bit of hay, but I like keeping it the old school way. My mom, when she moves in, we'll get her set up, have her a big garden she can eat off of. Yeah, my grandfather worked nights at the power plant and came home, slept a little, and then farmed during the day. So my grandfather, he has passed away. He passed away in 2000 before I was born. Probably about 10 months before I was born. I guess you know how old I am now. But I never got to meet him, so I like looking at old pictures of him. Yeah, he lived in this house when they grew up, it was my great-grandfather, great-grandmother, then my grandfather, and he had one sister and one brother. I like the old school stuff. Here's a picture of my grandfather on his old Ford lawnmower, and they got a new one, and it sat in the barn for who knows how long, probably 40 years. And I pulled it out probably when I was 17 or 18, somewhere around there, and piddled on it for a while, and I got it restored. Here's a before and a after. Yeah, I got it restored. It was a whole lot of work, but I just like keeping history alive here. Yeah, this picture was, my grandma said she was out in the yard one day and just seen this airplane flying real low through here and kept doing circles and circles, and she didn't know what was going on, and then it disappeared. Then I guess a few days later or a week later, somebody knocked on her door and said, "Do you want to buy these?" And she bought them. I guess that's one way to market your business. This place was I guess grandma's house. If y'all ever, back in the day, you always went to grandma's house. That was this place. My my great grandmother had, 3 kids, my grandfather, and he had 2 siblings, and that's where everybody would come over here for Christmas and have Christmas dinner. This house was packed full back in the day. I got a few pictures here of, one is of my grandfather before he's going to the steel mill to go work. It's him standing there. This was probably in the 50s, I would guess. That's my best guess. And you see, you're wondering why that bridge is there. But it's, this creek actually gets up a whole lot when it rains. So we've got to have a walk bridge, and we are on walk bridge number 3 here. Just a little cool fact about this place. So if it rains a whole lot, you better have your vehicle on the other side of the creek. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for the subscribers and all the interest, and I'll keep everybody posted and updated. Next video will probably be painting the living room, because I've got to prime it one more time, and where I did some drywall, and then it'll be good for paint. Then we're going to start adding on to and making a laundry room. that's going to be a pretty big process. We've got to cut a hole through the side of the house for the dryer vent. We've got to run water, hot and cold. We've got to run a drain line. We got to run power for the dryer. There's a few extra steps in there, but it's all coming together. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned.